Hi everybody. This is an instructional video on how to do the prologue assignment. So obviously you're going to click there and it will open, but I already have it open, so I'm just going to drag it over. So for this assignment, what you're going to do is you're going to read the prologue, which is actually on the slide. So the prologue is just like a very brief, short, kind of like almost, it's actually a sonnet, but it's like a brief introduction to Romeo and Juliet. Kind of gives you the setting. But prologue is just like something that comes before the story, or a lot of times before a movie, or like in a book, it's like the beginning, it's the very beginning. So this is another one of those annotating things. So this is one where you guys are going to be like, I don't know how to do this because they won't move and it's all tricky. Let me just tell you, if you can't get something to work, just kind of use your own madness to figure it out and like make it kind of work for you. So I'm going to show you. It's really easy to have to move the stuff around, but if for some reason you're in a different program and you can't get stuff to move, you can type it in, you can insert a text box, whatever you need to do to make it work, okay? So I'm not gonna, I mean, as long as you're getting the gist of it and putting the answer in, then that's fine, okay? Oh, sorry. Um, you, so yeah, so the annotating, using the tools provided, you may grab the corner handles of the shapes, adjust the sizes if necessary, and I'm gonna show you how to do all that. So Shakespearean sonnet, so like I said, the prologue for Romeo and Juliet is a sonnet. And so William Shakespeare is well known for his sonnets. He has written many of them. So in addition to his writing poetry being a great playwright, he's also known as a really great poet. So what do sonnets basically consist of? They're 14 lines consisting of three quatrains and four lined stanzas followed by a couplet, two rhyming lines. Written in iambic pentameter, a pattern of 10 stressed and unstressed syllables follow the rhyme scheme A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. They often contain a volta at the beginning of the third quatrain, a shift in tone and mood that often provide a revelation about the subject matter. So we're going to talk about all of this in Class Connect. So if for some reason you missed that Class Connect, watch the recording. What I'm wanting to do today is just to show you how to make this PowerPoint work and get things moved around the way you need to do the assignment, okay? So Shakespearean sonnets are suggested to have introduced a new kind of love poetry. A lot of times they remind people of songs. So with themes ranging from love, desire, beauty, politics, disgrace, gender roles, his sonnets are still widely studied and revered today. So Romeo and Juliet, one of the most common taught Shakespearean dramas, ends with a sonnet. The prologue, as you read, notice how Shakespeare employs some of his now famous sonnet forms. So we will jump down to the thing. I'm going to pause just 1 second. All right, so let's look at the first thing that you are going to do. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to read the prologue and then in your own words, explain what you think the play is going to be about. Obviously, some of you have read the story, and we're going to actually kind of go over the prologue a little bit together in class, so I'm not going to go over this too in depth. So like I said, if you did not attend Class Connect, be sure to watch the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how this works. So if you look at the rhyme scheme and you look at what and how the rhyme scheme works, and if hint, hint, by the way, if you go back here and it tells you how the rhyme scheme should be that A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. So if you think about it, so you're looking at rhyming. So for the rhyme scheme, all you're going to do is click on that. And for the rhyme scheme, it always starts with like A is always at the top, right? So then if another word does not rhyme with dignity, so dignity and scene don't rhyme, right? So then you're going to put, well, let me drag. Then you're going to put the B there, right? So dignity, munity, yeah, those kind of rhyme. Seen, unclean. Yeah, those kind of rhyme. So then I would put the A here because the A rhymes, and then seen and unclean rhymes, so that would be B. So I'm like matching them, if that makes any sense to you. So like those match because they rhyme. So what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way down this list and you are going to put in all of those letters, and they are just click and drag. Like I said, if for some reason it's not working for you, insert a text box up here where they have insert, and then you can just type the letters if you need to. So to type here, all you're going to do is double click on it and you're going to type. And you're just going to say, what do you think this play is going to be about, right? So that's all you do. So if we look down at the next one, so the prologue is now divided into quatrains. So quatrain means four, right? So quadruple, or, just you're thinking four, to make it easier for reading. So if we look at quatrain one and we look at what the information is saying, so you're going to read this. So using the drawing tools, underline all of the text that supports evidence to support your answers. So as you're answering across the back here, you're going to be answering those. So what is known about the social status of the families and why would that matter? What is the relationship between the two households? Why is that important? And civil equals civilian, civilized, well-mannered. Use the connotations of civil. What do you think this line means? So in that, you're going to be answering those. And again, all you're doing is clicking, 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 right? So in the drawing tools here, if I'm going to underline, boop, underline, and I can underline. And you can also change the color of those if you would like to. So you can just do a different color if you want to make that darker. Hold on one second. I had to make sure I was right before I had to go through and search 5 million times. But so it was highlighting with that orange. So let's say I just want to highlight it in black. So I just click that and it will highlight it. The other nice thing about this is you can stretch it out if you want to, or you can shrink it down. So that's easy way to underline, is to just use these little tools up here. Okay. So the next page that you're looking at will be quatrain 2. So quatrain 2, you're going to also use the drawing line again to underline the textual evidence to support your answers. So name the literary device highlighted by the bold underlined words. So what literary device has a repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of words? So we've studied that. Many of you probably won't even need to look it up. You should be able to figure out what that is. If not, remember we have some other notes that we took earlier last week when we were talking about poetry. They might be in there, so there. Star-crossed means destined to fail. What is Shakespeare telling his readers? So here you're going to just kind of look at making a, what's the word I'm looking for? Inference. You're inferring kind of what he's saying here. And then readers learn in the stanza that Romeo and Juliet will die. What will happen as a result of their death? So then you just obviously read down further and you should be able to answer that last question. Okay. So the next would be stanza or quatrain 3. So here you're also using the drawing tool again. So Shakespeare again tells the lovers are destined to die. Why do you think he does this? Shakespeare mentioned the lovers' death as only thing to end the feud. Why the repetition? So what's the purpose of him repeating that? And we've talked about repetition a lot. So that should be a quick answer for you. And then traffic, comings and goings of actors. What will be the traffic or subject matter of the play, right? So, and if you look here, it's going to talk about that. So you have to kind of read into that a little bit, okay? So then the last would be the final couplet. So that's those two little lines at the end. And then, so you're going to use the draw tool and underline the text to support your evidence. So this is just a really important part of the information for the play to help you understand. But during this time, so in a play, when people would go to see a play, they had the people were called groundlings. So basically, this was like the lower class audience, and they would stand in front of the stage. So at that time, like now, it costs a ton of money to stand in front of the stage, right? So back in those days, it was those were the cheap seats. We're going to talk a little bit about this and Shakespeare, probably before you get to this, and about like the Globe Theater and some other information. But those people were often noisy and boisterous, and they would cheer or boo depending on the opinion of the play. So they're like hecklers basically, or they would be really big supporters depending on if they liked it or didn't like it. So Shakespeare asked something of his audience. What does he ask? Why do you think he does this? So in this couplet, he's asking them a specific question. So then you got to kind of decipher what that is. And in the last three lines of the prologue, um, Shakespeare speaks directly to the audience. What would be the benefit of addressing them directly? So think about if you were at a comedy show or if you were at a concert and the musician or the singer or the comedian addressed you specifically, what do you think that would do for you watching that show, and kind of keep that in mind. So, and I'm kind of looking for a specific answer here. So we'll see if anybody can kind of go through and figure that out. So this is obviously a pretty lengthy annotation assignment, right? So one more page. So now you're going to reread, right? Because poetry is meant to be read how many times? Three at least. So this is where you're going to circle use the circle tool every time the word to is used. So the circle tool is really easy. You're just going to click on it and you're going to do the circle. But unfortunately, it gives you like the color over it, right? So all you have to do is go to the shape fill and you're going to go no fill. And that's going to give you the circle that you need without blocking the actual word, okay? So then you're going to use the pink highlighter below, or actually, duh, totally forgot about this. My goodness. So if you want to do it that way, you can. So every time the word to is used, they want you to use the circle. So to do that, you're just going to copy it and then you would just paste. That makes sense. So you're just going to copy and paste. So if you need to use these more than once, you would just copy and paste them. So then you're going to use the pink highlighter to highlight all the uses of repetition, the yellow highlighter to highlight all the images associated with death. And based on the annotation marks here, what is the tone, the author's manner of speaking to the audience of the prologue? So here you're going to discuss what the tone is. So if you need to copy these, you're just going to do copy, and it should give you, oh, yeah, sorry. So do copy, and then you would have to do paste. Oh, my goodness, you'd think I would have that. So however many of those you need, okay? So, and that is it. So in general, understanding the prologue is going to be your biggest struggle. But for the most part, I think most of you will be able to read into it pretty well since most of you already know what Romeo and Juliet is about. And then these sections where you're filling out the quatrains in the last couplet shouldn't be too bad for you, and same with this last thing. So if you have questions, please let me know. I know this is a lot, and we will go over some of this in Class Connect, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of an instructional video on how to do the shapes if you needed that. And because just from past experience, some students do have problems with moving these objects around. Like I said, if for some reason it's not working for you, you figure out a way to make it work, and I'm okay with that. But you still need to answer everything. Just make it work however you need to. So, all right, have a good day, guys.